today. And yes, so now we'll be starting with the time travel debate. Before starting, I just want to ask you, any of your guys's any idea you guys have as to what this event is today, what we'll be doing? Anyone? Any one of you has any opinion? Okay, I think not. I think you don't have any idea as to what this event would be. So, this event will be pretty literal according to the name, the time travel debate. And the reason we're doing an event like this event today is a very different event to what we have normally. Normally, we tend to have debate events of different formats or of special types of motions. But today's event is to also explore, of course, how to debate, but also have aspects of certain historical contexts and certain parts of history in our debate as well. So let's start with this. So, firstly, just introducing the teen debater, if any of you haven't been in any of the events before. So, the purpose of the teen debater is to introduce debate in different communities. We believe that debate is not just a academic extracurricular, it is not just a exercise, but it's a very important skill. It improves your critical thinking, it improves your communication skills, and you understand the world's complexities. And these are just certain places that the teen debater has gotten recognition from. And now moving onwards, what are our aims for today? Our aims for today, our aims for TTD and our aims with today's session is to expand your critical thinking skill, expand your worldview, and promote mental well-being as well. I think now the main part, which I'm sure all of you are waiting for, is what our event today would be like. Hania, do you want to go ahead and explain today's event?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So, today, participants, you're not just debating, you're also bending time. So, each team will have a wild, thought provoking question that will mix logic, ethics, and a dash of sci fi chaos. It'll be very short, creative, and easy. There's no research needed. You can go with your gut, and we look forward to what you have to say to us.
Another thing, the main point and the main purpose of this event is to give a debate speech. Um, along the lines of what someone in the era you're assigned to would have done. So, for example, each of you would be getting different eras. Someone could get the 1900s, someone could get the 1800s, maybe someone gets the 21st century, which is what we're currently in. Someone could get the 20th century. So, the purpose is that whatever topic you're assigned to, you don't have to give a speech based on what you personally believe. It could be based on your beliefs or not, but what people in your era would have done and what was the general view. For example, if we have a topic such as feminism, what would a speaker in 1800s say about feminism versus what would someone in the 21st century? I think all of you can see and all of you can understand that the kind of speeches about the same topic given in different eras would be very different. So the purpose is not to have a not to give a speech which aligns with today's views, but which aligns to the era which you are assigned. So we want to compare how in different historical times different topics were perceived. And we have very exciting topics for you today. I think another thing that Hanya mentioned, which was very important, is that no research is required. We really we suggest please don't use any AI tools like ChatGPT, because a major reason for today's event is to encourage creativity and to build your critical thinking skills, and it doesn't come with different sources of AI. It comes with when you think yourself. So now moving on to how this event would exactly look like. Firstly, what's the purpose of this event? I think we've covered this. The purpose is to engage humor, teamwork, and originality. We initially had the idea of making this a team event, but I think to make it even more interesting and so that we can incorporate more topics, we'll make this an individual event where each of you will be assigned a topic in a different era. And of course, this encourages creativity. Now, general information for this event. Now, prep time that we would give each of you is about 5 to 7 minutes. In case you guys need more time, I think 10 minutes is something that we can provide, but we would highly encourage that in 5 to 7 minutes after you like after the topic has been assigned to you, you focus on making your speech, a very basic outline of the speech, and you present that to us. Now the timings for each person to speak is about 3 minutes, and 3 minutes is the max cap we want you to go to. It's completely fine if your speech is between 2 to 3 minutes, but please don't go under 2 minutes and don't go above 3 minutes 30 seconds. And there are different era choices. Of course, you won't have a choice, the era will be assigned to you. And yeah, for the different topics that you get. Now, here are certain motion examples. These aren't motions that would be given to you, but these are different motion examples. Like, should humans live forever? Is social media force for good? Should robots have rights? The reason that these are given as examples is, for example, if you look at the first motion, should robots have rights? The way that this would be perceived today and the way that this would be perceived about 50 years ago or 60 years ago is very different. Maybe earlier people may believe that the concept of a robot itself is very artificial. It cannot be something tangible, it can't be something that can exist and perform any function to aid and to help humans out. But today a lot of people may think that actually employing robots instead of normal humans may be very productive, and robots should have rights because they can contribute to the workforce and they can make meaningful change. And same which is social media force for good. These viewpoints keep on evolving when you move from different eras and when you move different years. And same for should humans live forever. These are certain examples. Now the format. So the reason we have written you get 10 minutes to plan is that we're keeping 10 minutes as the max time you are assigned, that you can spend on making your speech. Reason for this is we want you to prepare in 5 to 7 minutes. In case you need extension, you can get it up to 10 minutes, and we can start with each person's speech. We would try to complete this event in an hour, and we would prefer not to extend it, but it's completely fine if this event gets extended because it is an exciting event. The topics will be very exciting, and we're looking forward to hear speeches from all of you. And if that means that the time goes a little bit above beyond, that is completely fine. Now, judges for today's event would be me and Hanya. We would be judging which is the best speech. Now, we would be assigning we would be awarding the best speech, the person who gave the best speech, the best speaker award. There won't be any third best speaker, second best speaker, first best speaker, because we do have comparatively less participants. However, we'll still be giving one of you the best speaker award, and we urge and encourage each of you to strive for that. And the team debater will send the certificate to you through your email, and whoever the winner is will ask you to send us your email ID so that we can give this certificate to you. Now, these are just the goals for this event. I think we've discussed this. And now I think we'll start with the event. So, in chat, Hanya will be assigning each of you a different topic along with a different era. And I think, Hanya, would you be able to do this in the next 2 to 3 minutes?
Yes, I'm on it.
Yeah, she's on it. So we'll get done with that in 2 to 3 minutes. As soon as you get the topics, I think let's keep a time for 6:22. As soon as you get the topic, please start working on your speech and keep the era you're assigned in mind. In case you want to understand what people believe in that era, you can give and you can have a quick Google search as to what was the general viewpoints about this topic in that era. If you have no clue, but the topics are pretty simple, so I'm pretty sure all of you would have a basic idea what people would believe in at that time. And if any of you have studied history in the past or have heard or have any basic historical context, that would also help you in this debate format today. So 6:23, 6:22 will start with our time. We'll try to begin the speeches at 6:30. In case any of you require more extension, we can extend to 6:32, and then we can start with our speeches. I'll also put the speaking order in chat while like after the motions are assigned. And Pranad, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Would that be possible if I can participate?
If you can participate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it's
Yeah.
definitely fine.
And what is the per speaker time of how many minutes?
The per speaker time is 3 minutes. We'll like highly encourage that you don't go below it or above it. But if you do have like certain points you really feel like aren't getting covered in 3 minutes, I think you can extend a bit. That's fine. We're not on a strict like time restraint right now. So I think the topics are being sent to all of you in chat. So we'll begin our speeches at about 6:30.
Ma'am, then I'll also be participating. S-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Angarni. Am I pronouncing your name correct? Um,
Yes, absolutely.
okay, hello. Thank you for joining the event. I think we've completed the briefing on what today's event would be, but I'll quickly summarize it for you. So today we have the time travel debate. The idea is that you'll be assigned a topic and you'll be assigned an era along with your topic. For example, your topic is that should females have equal rights to males, and the era you're assigned is the 18th century. Now, the reason this debate will be very different is you don't have to give a speech based on what you personally believe in. You have to give a speech based on what the general idea of people in the era you were in believed in. So, if you are assigned the 1700s or the 1800s, your speech may revolve around how women may not be like, it may not be best to give women equal rights because men are the when men are the ones who provide for the family, and this of course is not something we believe in the 21st century, but that's what makes today very interesting. You have to give a speech according to what era you're assigned and what topic you're assigned. So you'll be getting about 5 to 7 minutes to prepare. The preparation time has started right now. Hania from management, she'll be sending the different motions to you on chat along with the era that you're assigned. So, Hania, if you can do the same for the member that's just joined in right now, that would be great.
Sure, has everyone else received their prompts? I've sent them in. Please raise your hand if you have.
Okay, I think a lot of them have a couple of them have put the thumbs up emoji. I think that works. So that's the basic idea of today's event, that you'll be assigned a motion, you'll be assigned an era. You have to give a speech based on the era you're assigned on the topic that you're given. The time for speaking is about 3 minutes. Try not to go like beyond 3 minutes, but definitely not under 3 minutes either. Keep the time limit 2 to 3 minutes because we're not giving you too much time to prepare. You only get 5 to 7 minutes. As you have joined in late, we'll try to give you more time by having your speaking order, by like having your speech towards the end of today's event. So I think Hania would be sending the prompt in the era to you, and you all can continue preparing. Okay, hi everyone. Do we require any extra time? Is there any participant who feels that like getting maybe 2-3 more minutes would help? Or do all of you want to start by starting with the event?
Ma'am, 2-3 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I think actually it'll be better for all of us. Let's give ourselves 5 more minutes. But 6:35 sharp, we'll start with the event. Till then, we'll put the speaking order in chat. Hi, Yuvraj, can you hear me?
Hi, Kashish, I can hear you.
Yes. So we had started with this event at 6. As it's 6:35 now, we're done with the event briefing and our participants have gotten the time to prepare their speeches. Let me quickly brief you on the event and we'll give you extra time to prepare, of course, so that wait 1 second. I think Yuvraj left the meeting.
No, I'm here. That was my brother's name on account. I'm
Okay,
Swara.
yes. Sorry for that confusion. So the point of this event, let me explain it in brief to you, is that you will get a motion. Each person will get a motion, and each person will get a different era. For example, the motion that you have is, should women have equal rights as men? Now, of course, like in the 21st century, we all definitely do believe that women do deserve equal rights as men do. But maybe the era that you're assigned is the 17th century or the 18th century. Now you have to give a speech, a 3 minute speech. The timing is 3 minutes based on what people in your era are typically likely to believe. So people in, for example, 1800s were not as open to women's rights as they are today because they did believe that women were generally more inferior than men because they would probably contribute less to the income that households get. They would get less education than men would. They would have less opportunities than men would. So the idea was that they don't deserve equal rights as men. So the point is, based on the topic that you get and the era you get, you have to give a speech based on the era of and the topic, not based on what you may personally believe in, but based on what people at the time you're assigned are likely to believe in. So now we're immediately going to start with the event. Our speaking order is in chat. Hanya will be sending a motion and a different era to you, Swaraj. You'll also have the chance to listen to everyone's speech and you'll
Do
understand the event a
uh,
bit.
so
Yeah.
sorry, do everyone get the same motion?
What are you saying?
Do everyone get the same motion?
No, everyone doesn't get.
Okay, so it's like an extempore type, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You get some time to prepare. You don't necessarily need to research. If you want to understand what people in that time believed, then you can give it a quick Google search that what were the general views on this topic in this era, but that shouldn't be required. But okay, Swaraj, your speaking like order would be after Angarni. So you'll be going sixth. Now we're going to immediately start with our yeah.
I'm so sorry. If you don't mind, is that possible if I go second or third?
Okay, if you want to go second, um, I think that's possible. Hania, could you just adjust the speaking order? Also, Angarni has to leave. So please remove her name from the speaking order. It's completely okay, Angarni. You can leave the meeting and you can join in for the next TTT event.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So now we're going to immediately start with the event because we've waited for quite some time. The first person to speak today is Sharanya. Now, the way that you need to start is you have to tell everyone in the room what the topic you were assigned was and what was the era you were assigned, and then you need to start speaking. So, Sharanya, I'll also just put you on spotlight, and you have 3 minutes to give your speech. You can start whenever you are comfortable.
Thank you. So I've been assigned the era of 2200s, and my prompt is, should AI be allowed to run governments in the future? So I'll be elaborating on it today. Hi, my name is Sharonna. I just had a fight with my friend. She's a stubborn fellow. She thinks AI shouldn't have the right to run governments. But standing in the 2200s, do you think that is even a valid question? I just met Doraemon the other day. Now look at Nobita's family in the future. He's well off. His family is well off, rather. And whom do you think Nobita had gained all the knowledge from? It was Doraemon. And obviously, Doraemon just was not mechanics. He was just not machines that were put together. But it was the invention of us humans. It was AI, the one that planned it all along. Now, see, in the future, Nobita's family, who is a human, has been guided to such a good level. And now he's so well off, he's earning, he's educated, his family is educated. And he's not having the same problems anymore. So, do you think now even there stands the question of whether AI should be given the right to run the government? I'll give you another thing. AI, first when it was created back in 2025 or later in 2023, we had the very prototype of it. And even by using that prototype, we could gain project titles, we could get ideas, we could get the whole overview of a plan just in minutes in front of us. We didn't need anything else just for a device and a network connection. And now, after so many years, we have elaborated on it, we have researched on it so very well now that it is making 0% of any problems, of any errors. The most of errors it makes is just 0.1%. So, do you think it's a bad opinion of mine to say that AI shouldn't be given the right to run the government? I'll give you another example. Back when we didn't have AI, what we were doing, we humans, I am bound to say, we were corrupted. For our main motive for turning the situation in our favor, we cut down acres of forest, we cut down trees, forest covers, we killed so many species of the surface of the earth just to satisfy ourselves, just for the reason that we could establish more houses. We could get more wood for our luxurious furniture. We could establish more hotels. Do you think that was correct? And rather, in the past, when the government was run by humans, people were corrupted. The government was corrupted. They just elected representatives to serve their own purpose. They had a motive of their own that needed to be served. And just for that, they elected some random representative that they liked so that they would perform the right thing that they thought was right according to their conscience. But now, when we have built on AI, when we have developed AI so much, hasn't it got a better hand over us? It doesn't make so much of errors as it did previously. Now it is so developed. It can make better decisions. And you see that we humans are the ones that made AI. So we knew our faults the best. So we programmed AI the best as we could so that it would make the least of the mistakes that we had. It would not have the limitations that we had. So obviously, AI has got a better hand over us. But surely, if you ask me the question that can AI grow corrupt? Obviously, AI can. Because you see, we humans had been given power. And as soon as we were given power, we learned how to destroy our conscience from the actions we took. We grew corrupt. So, it's sure that if one is given power, be it a man, be it machines, everyone is bound to be corrupt because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, there is no way that you can assure that even if AI runs the governments, there will be no problems. But sure, as we have programmed AI, therefore, we should be aware to ensure that AI doesn't rule us. The servants do not rule the masters. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech, Sharanya. I think you captured your topic and especially your era in this topic really well. And I think everyone, let's give her a round of applause. One thing though I would just like to say is please try to stick to the time. We do want to make sure everyone has the right appropriate time to speak. So make sure you don't go above 3 minutes or don't go below it as well. So now the next person who has to speak today is Swaraj. So Swaraj, as you'd asked to go second,
Uh,
please camera and I'll put you on spotlight.
is it okay if I don't turn on my camera?
We would really encourage you to turn on your camera. That really helps us see your facial expressions, your body language, and like connect to the speech more. If it's possible, please turn it on. If not, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, I won't be able to turn it on, but should I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, I'll be starting in three, two, one, go. The question in this extempore, the question in this debate is not the fact that which company or like which type of authority we should choose in Marth, but rather the question here is that are we complied enough in the current status quo of the 2000s to actually do it is the question in this debate, which I would be explaining in my counter model even further, right? Panel, imagine if you were to build a society on Mars. The biggest question wouldn't have been how to survive, but how to govern, right? So the question here simply is the fact that should Mars have a CEO or have a democracy itself? What does a CEO look like? It looks like something which is sound efficient. It looks like something which sounds really and good and professional, right? But then at the point of time, we talk about the early civilization, we talk about the early colonization, where quick decisions, resources management, and single layer of vision was there. So in chaos of survivals, oxygen shortage, food crisis, unpredictable weather, debates, elections might slow down things, right? Why would it likely happen, panel? Because of a panel, this is something which is not Earth. That means people have just moved on to Earth, right? So it just moved from the Earth, right? And thereby they are in Mars right now. So this quick change is something which is very, very subtle and is on something which is that has happened right now only. So at points in time, panel, this is something which will be very, very unpredictable as to what will happen. But then B panel, we talk about that Mars risk turning into a very corporate dictatorship. Now, what do we mean by that is to say that there is a capitalist society wherein profit outweighs people. Wherein again, we talk about the very capitalist society which has already been built in Earth from hundreds and centuries ago, but now has been perpetuated in Mars in itself, right? So maybe the right answer isn't one or the other. In years, Mars need a CEO to lead, but in the long term benefit, it must evolve a democracy where decisions aren't made by one mind, but rather the collective wisdom of humans' willpower, but rather the collective wisdom of what humans think in the first place. Right at that point of time, we think that that is where true autonomy comes from. Then people would have an incentive, people would have a very dictating of democracy to go ahead and to feel modestly expressed. Now, acknowledge panel, the one or anyone and everyone who goes ahead and actually lives in Mars would have a sort of genetic mutation, which means that the environment he or she is surviving in would be a bit different than Earth in itself, right? So we are it is very unpredictable in the first place. What would be the psychological effect of that very dictator leader or whatever, right? Because at the end of the day, a very democracy also has a very leader in the first place. So in itself, this question presented in front of the house is something which is very, very unpredictable as well as very hypothetical. But we see that this is happening. Even if we're in the current status quo, even if we don't go ahead in 2000s, we see that this is going to happen, and we know and we predict, scientists agree with us. We see the research wherein it shows that humans are likely to move on Mars in the current status quo. With that, I shall rest my speech.
Thank you so much for your speech today. And thank you for that wonderful speech. Everyone, please give him a virtual um, applause, or like you can unmute your mic. Anything works with us. But now we'll move on to the next participant. The next person the next person who's supposed to speak is Rithi. Rithi, please start by like telling us what the topic you're assigned is so that everyone can understand. Then start with your speech. Another thing, would you prefer if I present the timer, or would you note your own time?
You can present the timer.
Okay, then I'll be presenting the timer. Give me just 1 second. Yes. And I'll start. First, let me spotlight you. And I hope you can see the screen. Yes. So you can begin whenever you're ready.
Good evening, respected judges and my dear friends. Today I, Rithi Gupta, represent the era of 1800s and my topic is should time travel tourism to ancient civilizations be banned? By starting the topic, let's first understand what is time traveling. It is to go back and to explore the ancient civilization, their true beauty, wisdom, and nature. Friends, our world is changing fast. The steam engine is moving all across the nations. The telegraph is sending message like a wind, and science is opening new doors. And when time traveling have been discovered, then why shouldn't we discover it? Why shouldn't we go back to the past and actually see what the true civilizations really meant? Why curiosity should be treated like a crime? If we can travel to ancient civilizations, we can see how life truly was, not just to read it from the dusty books. Imagine standing before the great pyramids of Giza in Egypt, listening to stories from the Socrates of Greece, and seeing the people of the Indus Valley carve out their first cities. Wouldn't be interesting and the amazing classroom ever? Some people may say that time travel is dangerous, that it may disturb the past. But true travelers would only go to observe, not to change. Just as explorers explore the ruins and artifacts today and the fossils they also discover, why shouldn't the time travelers go and explore how the ancient civilization was truly, how it was the people in the civilization and its beauty and wisdom? And most importantly, such journeys would make us humble. When we see the greatness of old civilization, we realize that every age has its own beauty, its wisdom, and, its true nature. We learn to respect history and value progress even more. So, my dear friends, banning time travel tourism would be closing the door to knowledge and locking away the keys. The 1800s are a time of bravery, discovery, and learning, not fear. Let us move forward with open eyes and open minds. I would like to conclude by saying a quote: time is not a wall, it's a window to wisdom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your amazing speech, Rithi. Um, and now everyone, of course, please give Rithi applause. I'm trying to find my reaction. I'm not able to on Zoom. Otherwise, yeah. But great speech, Rithi. Now moving on to the next participant. The next participant we have today is Siddhi. Siddhi, please turn on your. I think your camera is on. So I'll just remove Riddhi from spotlight and I'll spotlight you. Um, yes.
Is that?
Yeah, you can start.
Good evening to one and all present here. Today, I, Siddhi Gupta, would would like to deliver a speech. I'm standing against the motion. Should we go back and stop social media to be invented? And my era is 2000. But if I had a time machine, I would not go back to social media after being invented. Rather, I would go to tell people how prevention is helpful and how they have no idea this will change the world. Social media didn't invent jealousy, comparison, or hate. It just them. It gave a mirror to the society and not the mask. Before social media was invented, only a few people knew about the events which I have gone through. But after its invention, almost everybody became aware. Social media is acting as a platform where people could voice the wrong. They could just tell speak up for what is right and what is wrong.
Siddhi,
So
yes. Hello, can you hear me? I think I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I think I think Hani as well. I'm not sure about the other participants. We're having some difficulty in hearing your voice clearly. I'm not sure if it's a mic issue, um, but I wasn't able to properly comprehend what you were saying, which is why we just wanted to ask you if you can just check your net or any and your mic, and yeah, and just check if there are any internet issues. I think the next participant can go for now. Towards the end, we'll ask you to speak again. Does that work? Um, is that fine? Thank you. Okay, so then the next participant that we have today is speaking right now is, one second. Yeah, we have Pranath. So yeah,
Hello,
Pranath,
ma'am. Am I audible?
yeah, you're audible.
Ma'am, I won't be able to turn on my camera because there is just no electricity over here, and my laptop would die at any moment, and I might leave. Would that be
Yes.
possible?
Yeah, no, it's completely fine if you can't turn on your camera. Just give me 1 minute before you start.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. So sorry for that, Pranath. Now, just before your speech, one thing is that I unfortunately would have to leave the meeting right now, but Hania would be continuing with the event. So we have noted all of our personal opinions on your speeches so far, and we're looking forward to the other two speeches. We'll announce the winners at the end. We'll also send the certificate to you after the event is over. So for the rest of the event, your judge would be Hania. She would be deciding who the winner of this event should be. I've given my personal viewpoints on the first two speeches so far. So Hania, now you can just take the lead on this event, and I would be taking your leave.
Okay, thank you. Yes, is everyone able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Pranad, you can go ahead. I am actually not going to be able to present the timer. I will give you a 10
Yes,
second
ma'am.
check. Okay, when it's about to be over. I'll just text you in the chat.
No problem, ma'am. Am I
No.
audible, right? Yes.
Yes, you're audible, and please start with your error and prompt. Good
Uh,
luck.
yes, ma'am. I'll start on my self count of 3, 2, 1. Okay, ma'am. First of all, this question here which we arrived to is that should Black Death be cured or is it God's will? And we are from the people of era 1300s. Now, ma'am, we need to understand right on the burden itself of this matter. It is first two things. First, the Black Death itself. Second, God's will. We need to understand, ma'am, all of this thinking should be focused upon this rather than going into different aspects. Talking about the sickness itself, ma'am, we need to understand, ma'am, not only the Black Death in the cities or be it in any village, all suffering matters, be it a city plague or be it the rural death or be it any death which leads to go into the families and the whole communities and the people. And I'm talking about belief also which comes with the sickness, and that is a very strong thing. For example, the priests and the bishops, they have a very strong belief and it has a knowledge of religious truth, be it in the written knowledge of the same thing from the Bible and church teachings. And therefore, ma'am, the sickness is also involved in the God's will also. Now, ma'am, we need to understand and get good understanding and a good specific belief in the church and the monastery also. Because, ma'am, this is the time of God and God works in the ways we cannot actually understand. Now, ma'am, directly coming to the Now I'm directly coming to understand this is that itself the people are addressing about prioritizing God's will and accepting this as a punishment from God, because ma'am we are understanding the basic thing, and they, because God is the one that controls everything, how they are, how they manage to live, and be it how the knowledge and what learning process they are going through in their daily life, and also that is included in that. Second understanding suggested by this is that if you're just focusing on the cure, like only trying to fight against God's punishment, and you're doing only medicine and trying any remedy, that doesn't guarantee you in that case a good life itself, because all the life comes up to God's decision only at then if it is a healthy life for any living person. Because ma'am, God decides who lives and who dies. Third understanding, ma'am, on this is that accepting God's punishment is the basic mindset of many people. Ma'am, that is a belief that has a lot of strength. Firstly, it has a strong logic because many people are there who are dying because of the sickness, and that is God's work and God is calling them. So, ma'am, another thing about understanding that this is not about punishment. We shouldn't be fighting against God because God does not make any mistakes and God's will is always right and always true. Fourth thing about the acceptance that we are talking about, ma'am, we need to understand all these people in this time actually learns how to accept what God gives them in each situation, be it in the next life case or anything. So this is the correct time to accept God's will and pray and do what the church tell us to do, and we are ready for God's judgment. Now, ma'am, the basic understanding going from again and again, be it any person sick or healthy. So wrapping up with the last thing, be it any person, that person is also in God's hand at the end, and there is not such thing as fighting against God's will. Ma'am, the Black Death is God's will, and therefore we should be understanding and also accept God's mercy, and we should pray for God's mercy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pranad. Everyone, please give him a round of applause. That was really insightful. I'm very impressed with your arguments. Now, moving on, Siddhi, is your mic issue fixed?
Ma'am, if you won't mind, may I keep my video off?
Sure, no problem. Go ahead.
Are you able to hear me?
I am able to hear you. Yeah.
Good evening, respected judges and everybody present here. Today, I, Siddhi Gupta, stand against the motion that should we go back and stop social media from being invented. And my era is 2000. Well, if I had a machine, I would not go back to stop social media from being invented. I would rather go back to tell people that you have no idea how this tool will change the world. Social media didn't invented jealousy, comparison, or hate. It just revealed them. It gave a mirror to the society, not a mask. Before social media was invented, only a few people knew about the current events and the things which are happening around the globe. But now everyone has a voice. They have a common platform where they could speak up for what is wrong. Certain global movements like climate change activism also gain momentum due to social media. People say it has ruined real connections and mental health. Well, the problem is not social media. It's the way how we use it and how much we use it. If we control the use of social media, I think all the problems would be solved. Every invention had negatives. Cars caused accident, but we didn't stop using them, right? We built seat belts, not bands. Similarly, if we limit the use of social media, if we start using it responsibly, and if we introduce digital education, I think our problem would be solved. Going back to stop social media is equal to silencing millions and erasing opportunities for the future generation. Instead of going back, let's move forward, wiser, kinder, and more responsible. I would sum up by saying that let's not rewind progress, let's redefine it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause, everyone. That was really, really amazing. Siddhi, you were great. So just everyone, can you give me 2 minutes to total up the points and then I'll be announcing the winners. The winner will be getting a certificate mostly. I'll check with the other committee. You will be getting the certificate shortly after this. So just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so let me start by saying this. All of you were really amazing. You all helped us capture the gist of the event really, really well. And I'm so impressed today. I wasn't expecting these level of responses, but I do have a winner. Siddhi, you have won. Thank you. Best speaker. Would you like to say something? Okay, okay. I think your mic is having an issue again. You can turn off your camera and speak. It's fine.
I would just like to thank you.
That's really sweet. I would like to thank all of you for joining. We are having TTD events every weekend now, so please keep joining in. You all have amazing debate skills. So just keep joining in, keep growing that, keep honing your skills. And I'm sure you all will have equal, if not more, fun in the coming debates that we have planned. Thank you everyone again for joining, and I'm really, really grateful that you all joined.